Assalamu alaikum. Sorry about that. I logged on and then I logged off and okay. So I'm trying to set the camera up so that it can sit there while I make my dinner. So I am going to chat with you a little bit about Ramadan because it's coming up. But as you know, if you scroll through the events that we have on the Fit Muslimah fan page, we have a pre-Ramadan webinar coming up, and that is going to be on the 24th. So make sure that you sign up for that because that's going to have a lot more detail. I am just getting ready to cook, and I thought, hey, let's just log on and chat a little bit about preparing ourselves for Ramadan. So for dinner tonight, I am making some basmati rice and curry chicken. Simply because I had vegan Indian food for lunch. I went out with a friend and I said, hey, just continue the theme, you know. And so I'm gonna make some curry chicken for my boys. I'm sure it's probably like the black person's version of curry chicken. I do not, certainly do not contend to be like a curry chicken master, but it's what we eat and what we like, so. So one of the things that I just wanted to, and this is going to be pretty quick, like it's 8:07 now. I promised myself 30 minutes max, so if you have any questions, make sure that you ask them early on. So I'm going to talk a lot of detail about exactly what we should be eating during Ramadan. I'm going to, on the webinar. Today, I'm going to kind of like just give a little chat about pre-Ramadan, getting ready for Ramadan. We are less than a month away. Can you believe it? Well, alhamdulillah, we have made it yet another year to getting ready to celebrate Ramadan. And I always make the assumption that most of the people who log on are actually Muslim, but for people who are not Muslim, Ramadan is the Islamic holy month in which we fast from sunup to sundown. What that means is pre-dawn all the way to sunset, we do not eat or drink or take in any food whatsoever. We curb what we call our nafs, which is our desires. Food, drink, no sexual contact with your spouse if you have one. And you should engage in the remembrance of God during these times, not just during the day, but all month. So that's what fasting is for Muslims, because fasting is something that has been a tradition for every religion. In the our holy book, the Quran, God tells us that it is something that has been prescribed for those before us, meaning that the prophets before the Prophet Muhammad was told to fast, and so Muslims too have been told to fast. It's a religious tradition for every religion. So just about every religion, particularly the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all have a version of fasting. The Muslim version of fasting is no food, no drink, which means no, we cannot even have water. And we do this for a lunar month, so it's 29 or 30 days. So one of the things that I wanted to just quickly touch on is, as we get closer, we want to start to prepare our bodies. So this is not kind of like I think some people interpret sometimes when I say that we have to prepare for the physical vigor of fast as a way of speaking about it negatively or complaining. We're not complaining at all, but we are keeping in mind, or I am keeping in mind, and I encourage other people to keep in mind, that fasting is a challenge. It is supposed to be a challenge. It is not easy. And as they say, if it was easy, everybody would do it. But we know everybody doesn't do it. All right. So it's not an easy thing to do, particularly when the days are really long. So about 3 years ago, we started to have fasts, like literally the longest calendar days of the year in the Western Hemisphere. So because of that, it had 18-hour days. And in some parts of the world, they're actually fasting for 20 hours and only not fasting 4 hours a day. This is physically vigorous. The mercy of Allah is that we go on a lunar calendar, so it's not like this every single year. You know, lunar calendar is 10 days earlier each year, so we'll eventually ease our way back into the winter, to the spring, and then into the winter where our days will be short. But for the next few years, as it has been for the last couple of years, fasting during the month of Ramadan is during the middle of the month, where there are 18-hour days. So we'll start off with 18-hour days. For people who live in the West, we live in, you know, countries where we're not used to going this long without food. Alhamdulillah, we're not in a country, many of us don't live in third world countries where we have to do this because simply we have no food. So inshallah, we make dua for those people that Allah make it easy on them during and after and before Ramadan. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is to start to prepare. So I'm on my phone and I got a phone call. I had to log out of that. So one of the things that I encourage people to do, ooh, that was hot. I am making my curry chicken here. So one of the things I encourage people to do is to start preparing your body. What does that mean? So the sunnah of preparing your body before Ramadan is, as we were reminded at Jummah today, that the Prophet would fast more in the month preceding Ramadan than he did in any other month. So start doing some voluntary fasts now to start preparing. So not saying to fast every single day, because the Prophet did not fast every single day. We know that involuntary fast, the most strenuous fast that is even recommended, is if you fast every other day. That's like the most strenuous. So we don't want to, and I'm browning my onions, and so if y'all know all of that kind of like crackle stuff. So that's the most strenuous, but at the very least, inshallah, you should start to maybe fast on Mondays and Thursdays to start getting your body prepared, kind of like leading up to the Ramadan. So we know, for example, a good metaphor is, if you were going to run a marathon, you would not just wake up one day and decide, oh, today's the day of the marathon, let me get up and go run. You have to prepare your body for that. And so that is what pre-Ramadan should be. It should be you preparing your body to engage in this physically strenuous activity, which is the month of Ramadan. Another thing that I recommend that has been helpful for me, and so I'm giving tips that I've both tried them, and because about 3 Ramadans, whatever Ramadan it was that we had Ramadan in the summer for the very first time, I did not do these things, and it was really difficult. I was born Muslim, and I was complaining to my husband. I was like, I feel like this was the first Ramadan I ever fasted. And part of that was I did not start fasting any voluntary fast before Ramadan. I did not start, my second tip is start decreasing the foods that you eat, the amount that you eat. So, for example, one of the things that I have personally started to do is start using a smaller plate when I eat. I've already cut out snacks for the most part, so generally I recommend and I try to eat 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. So I've gotten to the point where I am trying to cut out snacks, so I start decreasing the amount of times a day that I'm eating during the daytime. And eventually, inshallah, I'm going to try to, I'll try to get down probably to about 2 meals a day immediately before Ramadan. Not right now. You know, we still got a good 3 weeks out for us to go. So you should start. So for my first tip for pre-Ramadan is, first you should start doing voluntary fasts, Mondays and Thursdays. The second thing that you should do is you should start decreasing your portion sizes of your meal. So simply use a smaller plate. Not a smaller plate so you can go back and get seconds. So this is not like a diet tip. This is a prepare your body for Ramadan. And if you've been following me for more than a year, then you know that what I suggest in Ramadan, they are not diet tips. They are things that can sometimes be something that I'm opposed to doing the rest of the year. But during Ramadan, it's a completely different story, and we're not fasting to lose weight. We're not fasting to be fit. We're fasting because it's a commandment of Allah. So the second tip that I would have is to start decreasing the portion sizes that you eat. And then the third tip that I would have is to then start decreasing how many times a day that you're eating. So bring it down to maybe this week you're only making sure that you're cutting out snacks and you're eating 3 meals a day. And then maybe next week you go down to 2 meals a day and try to maintain that until Ramadan. And then inshallah, by the time Ramadan comes and you have to go a full 18 hours without eating or drinking, then it will be a little bit easier for you, inshallah. Those are things that has helped me over the last couple of Ramadans, and so inshallah I hope that that's going to help you. So I look forward to speaking with you in about a week and a half. So we have a couple of things that's coming up. We have the free webinar for health and fitness business interests, and we have also on the 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's kind of like New York time, even though I don't live in New York, I live in Connecticut, 7 p.m. on the 24th. So make sure that you log in. I will again put the link to the event in the comments of this video, but I will have much more detail. So I'm going to come on Facebook Live. So on the 24th, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to come Facebook Live, and so I'll talk to you kind of like in this fashion. But I'll also have actual visuals and PowerPoint that I would love to share with you, but you have to sign up for the webinar in order for you to be able to view that on your computer. So inshallah, I will talk to you then. I'm going to go finish making my curry chicken. And I hope that those tips are helpful. All right? And I want to say salam alaikum to Sarah Dua. Thank you for loving my page. Muhammad said, cook for me too. Well, we don't have that technology yet for me to give you the food through the internet. So, inshallah, I hope for whatever you're eating is just as good as mine or better. All right, so, assalamu alaikum. I will speak to you soon.